Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where today's show is Authentic Achievements, and it is my absolute delight and privilege to be joined by the fabulous Danielle Fette. She's the co-founder and CEO of FetTech, where she combines entrepreneurship with a passion for transforming healthcare. She's dedicated to pushing the boundaries of regenerative medicine by developing FDA-cleared medical devices that help the body heal itself. Known for her commitment to transparency and always putting patients first, Danielle focuses on finding natural solutions for some of the toughest injuries, diseases, and trauma. As a leader and innovator, she's passionate about creating meaningful change in healthcare and inspiring others to rethink what's possible when science, innovation, and patient care come together. And she's genuinely one of the loveliest human beings as well. So Danielle, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, my lovely. I always love our conversations and I love the impact that you're having in the world. But could you bring that to life for us, for the people that haven't had the privilege of meeting you yet?
Sure. I'm a nurse and I got into medical device years ago, 20 years ago, met my husband, and together we formed our company FetTech. He is an engineer and builds medical devices that me and my teams introduced to clinicians to use. And we're in the regenerative medicine space, which is just the most phenomenal thing ever, because it's a way to treat and heal patients without just slapping a Band-Aid on it or just doing another surgery. We're actually getting to the root cause and fixing the problem and healing patients naturally, which I'm all about. Anything natural, anything that's really safe to use. So we have FDA cleared products and we're used in hospitals and trauma and burn. We're used in aesthetics and we're helping people as best as possible.
Wow. I love your story and your journey and the fact that you've taken that passion and purpose so that we can actually help people heal at the cause, because very often it's not the cause that's fixed, is it? It's a symptom that we get to. So how does what you do differ so significantly in helping people identify that cause and then fix it?
Well, when patients are injured, our bodies we're genius, but sometimes we're deficient in certain areas. And our natural body, when I slit my finger and needed stitches, we naturally form scar tissue to protect our bodies from an infection. And when you use our material, it signals to the body to heal differently. Some patients aren't healthy enough to heal. Some patients have comorbidities. Maybe it's diabetes, lack of blood flow, whatever the other underlying disease state is, they're not able to heal at all. But when they use our material that we invented, it signals to your body to heal differently. And then it gives your bodies the tools and instructions it would need to heal without scar tissue and heal really fast. But healing is just one aspect of it. It also helps minimize the pain and just really accelerates the healing. So patients that may not have had hope, that have been in hospitals for months with like an open infected wound, we're now able to heal and get discharged rapidly. But what I'm super excited about is taking this technology one step further. And now we're looking at ways to help patients where there's no other hope for them. For like spinal cord injury, can we regenerate the nerves, which the studies look really promising. And we're accelerating that project as fast as possible because patients that have had spinal cord injury, there's really no other options for them to help walk or regenerate their nerves. So my husband and I are really working on various projects within a variety of different health areas where patients need help. And right now, there's really no other options for them.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? What not only what the human body can do, but what the human body can do when aligned with what technology is now enabling us to be able to do. And the fact that you're not only helping, you're giving back hope, which is so important, isn't it? When we are trying to heal from something.
It really is. I mean, I started my journey in nursing, and then I didn't know, what my path was. I just knew I had a burning desire from the time I could walk to help people heal, which I knew was innate because no one in my family came from the healthcare world. They were entrepreneurs in the restaurant and food business. So I knew that that was my calling and my purpose. When I met my husband, though, the two of us together, it felt like this magical fairy tale of healing, because I'm like, you invent what kind of products, and how does not everyone know about this? And then I realized very quickly that that industry really takes over the market. It's a huge money, huge profit. And at the end of the day, all these companies in the healthcare space, including hospitals, it's corporate. It's about the bottom line. It's about the revenue. And my husband has such a special soul and cares about people as deeply as I do. And early on, we just said, you know what? We can't work for others anymore because they're never going to put the patients first. They'll tell you they're putting the patients first. But at the end of the day, it's about the revenue. It's about driving stock up, or it's about getting acquired. So we did this on our own because we just knew that we could advance medicine, invent more innovative products, but also get them to the patients that need them faster than any other company could. So we went on our own in 2012 and started FetTech, and it's been quite the journey. It has not been an easy road, but now looking back, I'm just so grateful we did it. We did it independent of taking outside funding because we didn't want an answer to a board. And we saw really ugly behaviors working for others that, again, when the revenue was the bottom line. So we're in a really nice situation where we're independent, we're family owned, and we can make decisions and streamline our ideas very rapidly to make advancements in medicine.
Amazing. And I can only begin to imagine that it was not an easy journey. Entrepreneurship never is. But entrepreneurship, when coupled with medical and technology, must bring with it its own unique set of challenges, I imagine.
I think for any human, knowing that you have answers and that there's someone loved one that needs you, it's this pressure that I can't describe, because you have to stay within the law. We're FDA cleared, so there is laws, and I am the kind of empath that wants to help everybody. But that can't be. I have to be very aware of what I'm doing, how I'm operating, how I'm assisting people to be within the law so we don't get shut down. But like I said, I'm also an empath. Like, I can feel people. I can feel people's pain, their emotions. So I really have had to lean into faith, spirituality, grounding myself, really self-improvement in all forms, just to be able to survive, because the amount of emails and people reaching out that have been in catastrophic accidents, it's very overwhelming. And I have to keep my eye on, like, each moment, each day, doing the best I can, but it can definitely be overwhelming.
I love that. And I love that you share how important self-care is, because that's often something we don't talk about as entrepreneurs or business owners. And yet it's so vital, isn't it? We do need to have that self-care, make sure that we are refilling our cup, particularly if we're in a role where we are empathetic with people and we do take on the impact of what's going on in their world.
Yeah, I've seen miracles every day in working in the hospital. And at some point you realize there's so much more than what we're able to wrap our heads around, like our purpose and our mission here on earth. And people may have different beliefs around the world, but I do believe that when you're happy and you are meeting your needs and really open to expanding and growing and learning through different situations, that you're going to be able to serve others better. But you have to it's like putting your oxygen mask on first. You have to take care of yourself. Even in parenting, in a relationship, entrepreneurship, like, if you do not take care of yourself, the rest will not follow. You will not feel happy. You will not feel successful, no matter how much money you make in entrepreneurship. So I could preach this all day long. It's lessons that I have learned through trying to muscle through things. But when I paused and realized that to survive in this industry and this journey, that I had to really dig deep and take care of myself, that's when all the doors opened.
I love that. And that journey so resonates, Danielle, because I used to be dreadful at self-care. And I never really understood the put your own life mask on first until I had my child. And I realized that actually, if I didn't put mine on, then who would help her if I got hers on it and didn't? So perhaps I'm a slow learner, but it made me then realize actually you've got to be intentional with that self-care and see it not as selfish, see it as actually is important, because if we're looking after ourselves, then we're going to be better able to support those around us. And I'd imagine that's even more prevalent in the kind of work you do, because you're dealing with people who need such help and they need such care.
Mm-hmm. And mind, body, and soul works all together when you're talking about health. So no matter how successful we are, if I'm sick or if I develop a disease, I'm not going to be able to serve and fulfill my purpose of helping more patients heal. And I did have some struggles with health issues that got me on my knees and said, okay, what do I need to change in my life? And it could be simple steps, whether it's really hydrating and drinking enough water and prioritizing sleep, or taking 30 minutes to yourself unselfishly, like being okay with taking 30 minutes to do whatever you need to feel better. But I was forced to have, and I think a lot of people are that lean into faith and spirituality a lot. It's because you've been forced to have no choice but to do something different than the way you've been doing it. And it's really, it's not only helped me in my health, but it's helped my team and it's helped our business.
I think you're right. It very is often when the platform you're on is burning that you have to find that other platform, or you lean into everything else that's around us, as you say, spiritually, mentally, physically. It's the whole combination, isn't it, of making sure that we are caring for all those aspects of ourselves, and we're understanding it through those lenses. And likewise, I had a couple of occasions where it wasn't until illness kicked in and made you stop, forced you to look at things differently, that actually you took a step back and really did consider what's going on in your world, and actually how intentionally are we spending our time? Because I think often the world's so busy and life is so busy that we can get swept along, can't we, in the busyness, in the hustle, without necessarily taking that step back and being mindful of, is this how we really want to spend the time we've got here? Is this really going to be what gives the biggest impact, positive impact on the people around us, the people we're here to serve? So how did you take that step? How did you make sure that you were able to build that grounding and that self-compassion into what you do, and therefore encourage it into what your team does?
Mm-hmm. I started just soul searching. I'm going to have to during COVID, we had discovered that the product that we put into patients had antiviral properties, and one of them was with enveloped viruses. COVID is an envelope virus. So here we are, the world shut down, and we discover through our testing that you could potentially inhale our product and treat COVID as people are dying left and right. And I remember being on my knees in my closet, which I am recording in right now, and crying and praying, like literally praying, like, I surrender. Like, what am I supposed to do? There's people dying. We lost our best friend to COVID in the hospital. Like, I could have helped him. And it was just this overwhelming feeling. And I just had to like breathe and realize, okay, there's something greater than me here. Like, the fact that this is happening to us and our product can help people heal as incredible as it could, and I just surrendered and was like, what can I do? Talking out loud to whatever you believe in, whether universe, God, something. Like, I know that we didn't just stumble upon this for no reason. And I want to serve people as best as possible. So I'm going to follow your lead. And whether it was a podcast, a book, a meditation, a certain workout, I made a commitment, and every single day I'm working to expand and get better, to learn myself more, to be as authentic as possible. And that word, it's hard because sometimes we think we're being authentic, but we have trauma. Everyone has trauma from childhood or that we're not aware of. And, kind of releasing that. So I wasn't as timid to like put on an act or say what I thought other people wanted to hear and not be a people pleaser and just be so true to who I am so that I could help as many people as possible. And then with my team, it just kind of trickled down. I started attracting different people to the business, different business partners, different employees. There was a different quality of person because I do believe that like attracts like. And when you come from a place of more grounding, more confidence, and less desperate. Look, when you start a business, you want to make things happen and it's really scary. There's little money involved and you know time's a ticking and you have to make things happen. And there was a period of time I was attracting people that and today I would not even talk twice to them, but it looked like good opportunities. They may have had an in, they may have had whatever it was. The background that I thought we needed. Instead of listening to my gut, listening to myself, I kind of looked at the dangle carrot and was like, oh, that looks like a good opportunity. But now that I'm more grounded and I'm pausing and I'm listening to my emotions guide me, I'm able to make clear decisions. And I'm a big believer in if I pause to make the decision, making no decision is a lot better than making the wrong decision. Because in the past, before I got more spiritually evolved, if you will, I would rush into a situation super eagerly excited for the outcome. And then I'd be like, oh, I just made a horrible decision. And now I'm trying to backpedal out of this business decision. So I've really learned to just go a little bit slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon. It's not a race. And I'm really trying to enjoy the ride, enjoy the little steps in the right direction instead of putting my eye on the prize for the end result. Because then you get to the end result and you're like, well, now what?
Yes, I love that because I think it is about that going inwards. We have to go inwards to go outwards, don't we? And it took me a long time to realize that. So I was constantly looking outward for growth, for what else I could learn, for what else I could develop. But actually, until I went inward to realize what I already had, that I wasn't using, that I wasn't being honest about because I was afraid of what people might think or wanting to be a people pleaser, you suddenly realize you're the one causing your life to go off course, aren't you? And actually, when you take that moment and just pause and listen to what's really going on within, to all the bits, then you're right. We do. I think what we put out comes back. The energy changes, the people change, and all of a sudden, things just seem to fall into alignment, don't they?
They really do. I'm so proud of the people I surround myself with now. And they say you become like the people you surround yourself with. We have a very lean team. We structure it like that on purpose because I believe in overpaying and getting people that have so much heart and soul and so much potential where your morals and values are aligned. And then those people can run circles around a huge team. But when you have a small team, you can expedite things quicker than if you have, it's like having too many cooks in the kitchen, even though I don't cook. That's probably a horrible analogy. But if you have too many people with too many personalities, it stunts growth. And that was my frustration working for other companies. I recently heard the CEO of Airbnb and I was like, oh, this guy's the first one that's speaking my language where get a lean team, get the most capable people, take care of those people, nurture them, and you'll flourish. And that's kind of how we operate. But in doing that, I was able to slow down and focus on them and their development personally and professionally, because I don't separate. When they say like life work balance, I don't believe that there's a separation. If you're doing what you love, it kind of all blends together and that's just a part of you. So even within my team, I'm constantly encouraging them to do things that make them feel good and expand, whatever that may be, whether it's to get more creative, to take more initiative on their own, to read a book that may be inspiring to them to push themselves a little bit more. But I think it's really important in entrepreneurship and relationships in general that you lift each other up.
I think that's so true. And I love that actually what you're doing is you're modeling what it is that you're trying to help them to achieve as well, which is you're growing, you're developing, you're investing in being the best version of you, and also showing them how important it is for them to do the same, invest in being the best version of themselves. And I think that's how teams grow together, isn't it? They have that common purpose. And I love the part that really spoke to me was that alignment of values. Because I think if our values and our morals and our purpose align, we are unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. I don't look at resumes. I actually hate them. And I can tell you earlier on my career, I could make my resume attract any job I wanted. I know how to spin that. And you can make me look as horrible on paper, as good on paper as you want. But the truth is, I want to, within the first couple minutes, because your energy introduces yourself, within the first couple seconds of meeting someone, I know if this person is worth investing further in conversation or my energy or my time. And I really believe that's so important. I know a lot of other executives would go in with preconceived, like, this is who I want based on the resume. And I would kind of chuckle to myself. But again, in corporate America, there's a lot of lip service. There's a lot of, talk is cheap. I hate talk. Like, show me, don't tell me. I'm not a words of affirmation kind of girl. I'm like, show me how you feel and what you want to do. So, I learned a lot of things working for others that I knew I wanted to do differently. I was really good at paying attention when I worked for the other Fortune 500 companies, huge medical device and pharmaceutical companies. What I would never do as a manager or a director or at my own company.
I love that. I think we learn so much, don't we, by observing, by seeing the impact people have. I've been very lucky to have worked with some amazing leaders over the years and some dreadful ones. And you're able to look at it and go, I'll take this bit, that bit's all yours. It's like, yes. You can keep that. And I think it does help us shape how we're going to be and who we're going to be as a leader when we step into who we are. Mm-hmm. And I think for many years, I was in corporate in the UK and in financial services, and kindness it wasn't a skill that anybody thought was particularly solid. Neither was curiosity. And yet actually kindness and curiosity, in my experience, are the things that open the world up for us. They allow us to learn more without judgment, because when we're curious about what somebody else knows, when we're curious about what happens next, we're not passing judgment, we're just interested. How important do you think things like curiosity and kindness are in your team?
Oh, I think it's key, but I also think in the corporate world, it's looked as a sign of weakness. So you can be kind and you can be curious, but you can also have very strong boundaries and be very strong in your role. And I've watched peers change who they are in a corporate environment versus a personal environment. And again, getting back to being authentic, I think it's so important to know who you are and be able to treat people equally. And anyone that knows me will tell you, I don't care if you're the janitor or you're the king. I'm treating you the same way. I either like you or I don't. I get vibes on people, but I give everyone respect. We're all here on round trip tickets. We're all here and we're all going to leave one day. And I want to treat others the way I would want myself and my family to be treated, period. So I would never have anyone work on my team, no matter how skilled, no matter how good, if they didn't desire to learn and grow. It wouldn't be inspiring for me. So if they weren't curious, I wouldn't be inspired to want to work with them. And if they weren't kind, there would be zero chance, because I'm kind and they represent our company. So I need to trust, I don't micromanage, that they're my voice and they're the reflection of our company when I'm not around. Now, look, for other people, maybe kindness and curiosity is not important. So you're not going to hire those kind of people. But to me, it is crucial, absolutely crucial.
I love that. This is why we get on so well, because we are completely aligned on this. And I think for me, we have, with so many of these things, as you say, kindness and curiosity were often seen as we badge everything, don't we, with the soft skills, which always makes me smile, because it's like, if they're really soft skills, why do so many people find them so hard? It's like, they actually are more difficult to do. It takes courage to be curious, because it means that you are willing to say, I don't know all the answers. And that's not something that has been prevalent in leadership for too many years, is it?
Yeah, I just feel like those people have a lot of insecurities and a lot more work to do. The people that boss other people around and are not respectful, in my opinion, or they don't treat people nicely, that's an element of fear that they have. And that's an element of insecurity and them having to prove themselves. And quite honestly, I don't want insecure people around me. I mean, look, we all have things that we could work on to become more secure. That's a part of being human. But when you're treating people poorly and bullying them to get ahead, or you're stepping on toes to get ahead, that to me is unacceptable. And that person is dangerous, because what that tells me is that person will do whatever it takes because they're insecure and they need to prove themselves. So there's an unpredictability pattern around that type of person that I do not have the time or energy, and I'm not willing to gamble on that kind of person.
No, I think that is so valid, because if you have got a person who is willing to be unkind, who is willing to step on people, and what they're not willing to do is the inner work to be more grounded, to fix that insecurity, then that's like having it's like having a bull in a china shop, isn't it? You just don't know where the damage is going to come, but you know it's coming.
It's coming, but also you're damaging the company, because when the focus is trying to prove yourself or one up someone to get ahead, then are you really aligned with the mission of the company? If my goal is to genuinely help people and move our medical device technology along and educate as many people as possible through social media or through clinicians, and I have someone who's just trying to prove themselves, that is taking away from our mission as a company. So I do think it's really important. And I have seen leaders hire people like this because of their experience or their contacts, but you really have to ask yourself, what are your goals in life? And my goal is to like what I'm doing and be happy while helping others and financially being successful. And I believe you can have it all. And I don't want robots. Those same people that are insecure and are assholes to other people, hopefully I can say that on here, but those people are not going to challenge authority appropriately because they're too worried about going up the ranks. And, early on in my career, even when I didn't really have a big title, I would look at the way they were doing things and I would see strategically better ways or a faster way to get to the end result. Really, I'm really creative and I'm really strategic. And I was not afraid to speak up respectfully. I would say, I have this idea and this is why I think it's going to work well. And I would watch my peers just yes, authority. Yes, 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 because they wanted a promotion. But if you really believe in yourself, like I'm betting on myself and my talent, you can respectfully challenge or come up with new and better ways to do things. And I think that's the beauty of a team, is people to have different perspectives and not be afraid to speak up and change. I love and thrive in change. And I think that's very important in the world to move things forward, because if you keep doing things the same way, nothing's ever going to evolve.
That's so true. And almost the only constant in life is change. We're ever evolving. Every day is different. Technology is advancing. The world's moving around. So unless we start to get, as I often think as a leader, one of the greatest skills you need is to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because it's going to be uncomfortable. Where things are going to not go the way we expected. Things will go the way we expected. But actually what our teams look for is our consistency. I remember working for one organization, and it wasn't until things went hideously wrong that I actually really completely got everybody's buy-in. And they said that was because when I first started, everything went well. So they were like, well, it's all right for her to be this kind and this happy, when we're on the happy path. But let's see if she changes when things go a little bit askew. And the fact that I didn't was when they went, oh, this really is who you are. I was like, yeah, this really is who I am. And it's going to be the consistency of what we do that helps you build that trust, that stability, that psychologically safe space for our people to flourish. And by return, because we get our energy from their energy, for us to flourish. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, I love that. I think one of my biggest superpowers is being uncomfortable, and being totally okay with making a mistake and owning it. And that stems from me being dyslexic. Growing up, I knew how smart I was, but reading and writing is extremely challenging for me. So I spent my younger years in school constantly feeling embarrassed and trying to figure out how to fit in and not feel less than everyone else around me. All my friends were so smart and they could read. And then I realized, smart comes in different packages. I can't take a test. And I really had to finagle my way through university. Luckily, I played sports, which got me in the first place. But I have no shame in my game. Like, I am so comfortable with saying, I have no idea, but you know what? I'm going to find out because I'm so resourceful and I know how to get the answers and I know how to figure it out. And I'm used to failing and I'm really good at picking myself up. And I love that about me. I wish more people were comfortable with trying and being okay with messing up. I think, like I said, I think it's just a superpower from growing up and being dyslexic, but it's definitely helped me today.
I love that, because we do all have strengths in different spaces, and often the way we're driven in society doesn't allow us to feel whole if we're not the same as other people. And it reminds me of a story about Henry Ford, he took the Chicago Tribune, I think it was, to court for libel when they basically were telling everybody that he was an uneducated buffoon. And while he was in that particular court case, and they were asking impertinent question after impertinent question, he eventually got very frustrated and said, can I just say, I've got this wooden box on my desk, and at the press of a button, I can summon to me somebody who can give me the answer to any question I could possibly want. So why would I need to crowd my brain with that knowledge? And at that point, he won, because they realized that that's not the answer of an uneducated buffoon, but quite an educated man who clearly knows. And I love that with your natural resourcefulness, you're able to do that. You're able to take all the skills that you've got that make you you and utilize them to bring in the right people that are going to be able to give you the information that you need. And actually where your skill is in orchestrating that strategy, in kind of gathering the right resources around. Would that be fair? No, I think I'm not sure.
Different. Yeah, we're not meant to all be the same. And what is unique about you is your superpower. So if you find out what am I different at than everyone else? How am I different? And then you tune in on that and use it as a superpower. That's what makes life so beautiful. But the problem is with social media, we're constantly comparing ourselves to the snippets of other people's lives. We all put on social media what we want to portray of ourselves. And that's just like one sentence in a whole book. And then we're trying to keep up with everything we see on social media. And that noise can really be damaging. I had to learn how to put that away, because I would compare, other companies and where they were at. And I'm like, oh gosh, I want to get there faster. And it's just really important to pay attention to all that and not compare yourself. Even in parenting, the one-up game, like, oh, well, that kid's playing soccer all year round. Maybe my kid's not. Maybe we're going on vacation. Oh, my kid's going to be left behind. And it's just so easy in today's day and age to get lost in keeping up or being cookie cutter like. But we're not meant to be on this planet to be cookie cutter like. That would be so boring if we were all the same.
It so would. I mean, it would just be the dullest thing, wouldn't it? We wouldn't learn anything. We wouldn't grow. And as I say to my little girl all the time, that our job in life is to be a better version of ourselves every day. Not a better version of anybody else, not better than anybody else, but how was I yesterday as me, and how do I improve that today so that I can add more value to the people that are in my world, that are either people that I'm serving or family and friends, or the people that are around me. I said, because we need to understand that actually we are meant to be different. We are all perfectly imperfect. And actually that imperfection very often, as you said, is our superpower. The bit that makes us different is the gift we've got to share with the world. So how do you take that first step? Or how did you take that first step to going, actually, I'm gonna fully own who I am? I love the statement you made, there's no shame in my game. That's amazing. How do you get there?
I mean, I'm not as confident as I desire to be. It's something I'm always working on. There's no shame in my game as far as owning when I make a mistake or I don't know something, because that's just the way I grew up. That's the way I was programmed. But there are other insecurities that I may have. I want to make people happy. So I've had to learn on social media, there's going to be people I can't please. if I'm just fully myself, I'm going to attract the people that need me, that need my services, that need to hear what I have to say. And it's just like reprogramming. But I also do work, meditation. I do like hypnotherapy stuff on different apps just to reprogram my brain, because subconsciously I know there's stuff lingering in there that could be holding me back. And I really want to see the best version of myself. And when I start doing that work, the meditation, the hypnosis, the self-help, anything, whatever you call it, I do see quicker pathway to where I want to be in business.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone is 100% confident in every area of their life, but I'm slowly picking away things that, okay, I'll give you an example. Social media, Instagram. When I would do a story, I would shoot the story like 7 times. And then my brain would be like, is that okay? Am I going to offend people? Did I sound right? Did I get the message across? And then I realized the first take, whatever comes out of my mouth, that's what I should be posting, because that's authentically me without trying. And you know what? My engagement went up and I could feel the audience relating to me more than when it was contrived and I was trying and practicing. So just like little things, the more you can be yourself, the more people crave realness. There's so much fake baloney out there nowadays that I really think that the people that are going to get ahead in life are going to be as real and raw as possible.
I love that. I so agree. I think, the thing that people are craving more and more is connectivity. And that to feel connected, you've got to trust if the person is who you think they are. And it made me smile when you were saying about your Instagram. I'm so been there. One of my 42 takes of saying something that's like, just send the first one out. Nobody cares if your hair looks okay or if the sun was in your eyes. It's whether or not the message resonates. It's whether or not actually the energy that you're putting out through it is going to be received in the way that you want it to be received. And I think you're right. I don't think there is anybody that is 100% lacking in any self-doubt, but I think that probably wouldn't be very healthy because you've got to be able to continue to question, to continue to grow, so that you keep that perspective, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always trying to push myself, like wherever I feel insecure or uncomfortable, I'm like, I'm going to try that. I don't even, it feels so scary. I mean, and I don't mind speaking, but like my first podcast, I was so worried about what I was going to say and how it would come out. And I made myself, and it was a big radio show in New York that I did. It was my first one. I have no idea how that became my first one. But it's so important to do things that are uncomfortable to grow.
It's so true. Yeah, as I say to Scarlett, we go through what we grow through what we go through. But you've got to go through it. You've got to be present. You've got to push yourself into those areas where you're like, why am I doing this? How am I going to? Because I'm very conscious that she's watching. So if I'm not willing to put myself in uncomfortable positions, in places that are going to force you to grow, then I'm teaching her to stay small as well.
Totally. I mean, that first podcast, that was live from New York, and it was on iHeartRadio, my first podcast. And then they started with, okay, we're going to put a prompt, read about yourself and for your intro. And I can't read. Reading is really hard. So what I would do if I was not live was I would like read it very, very slowly and have it memorized. And then I would have pretended I was reading. So I had to tell them, like, listen, guys, I'm dyslexic. I don't think you want me reading this. Can I we figured it out. But it was a really healthy experience. And I think being honest on air was the greatest thing ever, because guess what? 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 people are dyslexic. And there's a lot of other people out there like, oh, I can't read that well either, or hiding behind that. And I think being authentic just helps everyone else. It normalizes being okay with not being great at things.
I love that. And I love that whatever, you find a way through, you find a connection. Forgive me, Pudding really wants to connect with you, Danielle. So he's desperately trying to give me a sock right now. Not for Puds. And I'm really conscious that time's just flying. And before we go, Can you share with the audience how they can work with you and who you help?
Sure. We help any patient that has an injury, a wound, like an opening in your skin that will not heal, or you want to heal without a scar, or, I use it with CO2 laser for beauty aesthetics. There's a lot of ways we can help heal the skin. Go to our website, fettech.com, and you can look through our different companies and reach out that way. I try on my social media platforms, Danielle Fette, to get back to everyone, but keep in mind, this is a medical device. So you do need a prescription from a doctor, and we just do our best to help everyone.
And I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing all your insight and your inspiration around how we actually reconnect to self and use that to shine our light in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. I look forward to our next conversation. And to everybody listening and watching, I hope you've found today's episode to be as insightful and inspiring as I have. And until next time, take care.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within every woman lives a goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.